What's up, nerds? This is Nerds on Earth coming at you with another installment of 4-Minute Firsts, where we give you a fast first impression of a new #1 comic in 4 minutes or less. This week I picked up Black Bolt #1, his first solo title and my first ever experience with the King of the Inhumans. Now here's what I knew of Black Bolt going in. 1, he was the King of the Inhumans. And 2, I had a very elementary understanding that his power was tied to a voice. That a whisper could cause extreme harm, and that if he ever shouted, it could level a city. That's about it. So I was going into this issue relatively blind. I picked it up partly because I was curious to see how a book could be carried by a dude who almost never utters a word. At the very least, I figured that the art would be killer to compensate for that. I was only partly right, but in the best way possible. Page 1 finds Black Bolt chained, taunted, and tortured. The words, "Name your crimes, repent your crimes," echo in his chamber, followed by massive, scorching shots of electricity. Now, he doesn't know exactly where he is, he doesn't know how he got there, and after he frees himself from his bonds, he wanders for days before finding out that he's not alone in this prison of sorts. And we as readers are as lost as Black Bolt himself is, having none of those answers ourselves. If there's one thing Saladin Ahmed's writing does better than anything, it's raise questions, intriguing questions at that, and they keep coming as the story unfolds right on through to the last page and his last line of dialogue. This is Ahmed's first comic ever, and I feel like he's handicapped a bit in this first issue by the nature of Black Bolt's necessity for being a man of few words. But there's a big change in the last few pages that will free the Nebula and Hugo Award nominee up to write more and write well. But even as I feel we'll have to wait for issue #2 for Ahmed's writing to really take off, we are treated to some truly amazing artwork from Christian Ward. With a largely mute protagonist, you've got to use facial expressions and body language superbly well to communicate meaningfully through him, and Ward does that extremely well. Anger, surprise, confusion, agony, determination. He nails each and every one with subtleties of Black Bolt's eyes. And this full page is absolutely stunning. It is the stuff posters and tablet backgrounds are made of. And the best part? Ward's awesomeness isn't isolated to and concentrated in this single page, but is consistent from cover to cover. Now, I actually think Ward plays with color maybe better than anyone else out there right now. His art makes this issue a page-turner at least as much as Ahmed's questions do, and this is just a flat-out beautiful book. And so what if you don't know who Black Bolt is? And so what if you don't know a darned thing about the Inhumans? This issue might actually assume that you don't, or in the very least, it makes you feel like you don't know what's going on regardless of what you may or may not know about the Inhumans or Black Bolt. I have full trust that Ahmed and Ward's work will keep this book a noteworthy addition to your pull list or your subscription, even if you have no idea what Terrigen Mist is. Definitely worth keeping an eye on for sure. Maybe even especially considering that the Inhumans will grace our television screens this fall on ABC. Now let us know in the comments what you thought of Black Bolt #1 after you've snagged it from Comixology or from your local comic shop, which you can find using the comic shop locator provided in the description below. And as always, give us a like and subscribe, find us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, hit us up at nerdsonearth.com, and share anything of ours that you find worth spreading far and wide. Later, nerds.